A shit is like a... Poops is playful, which I kind of like. That being said, you are listening to the Everybody Speaks podcast. I am your host, Ray Reddy. Today I'm here with a good friend, Jack the Giant.
What's up?
Cautiously optimistic from afar. Here's a long call from heaven to give these hard-earned scars. It's a long road to Virginia. Hope you come my way. It's a long road to Virginia. Lord, I'm thinking I might stay.
Talking shop, honestly. It's been an interesting week. For those wondering, it is Friday the 26th, 2024. Is it the end of Aries season, I believe? And the moon is bright, the sun is out. We're live, but I appreciate you stopping by, Jack. Welcome here.
Appreciate you having me, my boy.
Heck yeah. How are you doing? How are you hanging in there?
Pretty good. Chilling. Had a couple cool shows the other week, or last week and the weekend before that. Hanging out, enjoying the nice weather. Kind of chilling, kicking back.
Decent. Yeah, speaking of shows, Jack just opened up or played or performed at Ember Music Hall, opening up for Killsmith and Lavier. Epic show, dope environment. 420 is 419, but it was an excellent vibe. With that show, I saw there was some content posted that said it was an all original set from you. Is that true?
Yes, that is
Bad
correct.
ass. And then I also saw something from you that said you lost or you left your hard drive at home, so that was originals, not the new originals.
Yeah, so I've been trying to aim to do all original sets, which I've been achieving the past 5-6 shows I've done. But I was on a roll with songwriting before the Bicycle Day show, and unfortunately I left my USB with the 3 songs that I wrote during that week at home, but sorry.
Way she goes, you live and you learn. I left my camera at home, so I didn't do a very good job filming. But with that, I guess my curiosity, and as a kind of like a layman, what is your opinion on people who go into something and have a non-original set where they're just throwing in songs that they like and whatnot versus a all-original set? As a DJ producer, what are your opinions on that?
This is just my opinion.
This
is just what I think
talk
is
that shit.
cool. But I don't know. I do find shows a little bit more interesting if the person playing is playing their own music. I'm not saying I don't enjoy that if it's not that case, but I do find it just I don't know. I feel like it's more of a you don't watch someone make beats at home. That's very boring, but once that person has enough of a catalog to set up, they can a show is more equivalent to an art gallery, in my opinion.
No, I dig that, especially because it's the, I feel like in my own perspective, it's the artistic expression of everybody has a sound that they like. Once you're able to start creating it and putting it into a full song, it's a whole different thing. And then once you get to that point of being confident enough to start showing it to other people or break it out in a fucking show is completely different. But you are getting a live look at what this person appreciates, and it's whether you like it or not, it is completely original and might be fine-tuned or sampled or something like that, but it's weird the way the brain works. When you're making music, is there a process or a way that you construct it up or come up with a beat and run with that, or anything that you do in particular?
Yeah, I'll give you my formula of what I've been doing the past year. But so I'm really bad at drums. I'm not good at hashing out drum ideas. So I will go on to Splice and kind of yoink a drum loop off of that and build my beat around that drum loop, and then go back and then just replace all the samples and kind of add a little bit of sauce.
What is Splice?
Splice is just a big database that you can get royalty-free samples from and stuff.
Well, and I use a video editing app on my phone called Splice, and I wouldn't doubt that it's probably similar because it has the audios and everything included into it.
I'm sure there's a Everybody Poops legal battle with that.
Not yet.
But
eventually, once they want to come for that big money.
But I did not. I mean, Splice is it's good for finding samples. I can comment on that one later. But
yeah, and what I'm curious as well, because like you've had one of the things I like about going to your sets is there's a lot of pop culture mixed in that, you know, there was a Limp Bizkit, you played the SpongeBob. It's a fun.
See, okay, I will say
cognitive.
This. Whenever I do like, if it's okay, the past like couple legit like live shows, that's definitely been all original. But like the River stuff that we did, that was just like me like messing around.
Oh, and feel good music as well. You can't hate on people. My head was bouncing. I had a great time.
But yeah, to go back to like playing original sets before I just sound like a dick. It's like, oh yeah, everybody doesn't play original sucks. But I don't think that I do. I think getting into DJing, if you wanted to start DJing and someone's giving you shit for not playing your own music, and then you go and get Ableton and you try to like make your own original set within like the first year, unless you're like some savant, it's like you're not gonna get that far in my opinion. Like I didn't start making songs I was like actually comfortable playing out at a legit show until like 6 years into it, you know what I mean? So I do think that's like a big fucking hurdle.
How many years have you been into it now?
I think 9. I think I got Ableton in like 2015. Yeah.
Well, so, and for the layman, thankfully my friend educated me on what Ableton is, but for the layman, what is Ableton?
Ableton is a digital audio workstation, or a DAW, which is pretty much just like a piece of software that you download to your computer that you make beats with. It's like Fruity Loops.
Yeah. Fruity Loops, and then he was even saying that he uses one called, I think, Sonata or something like that for his laptop.
I'm not heard of
that. But it's crazy. I tried it a couple years ago, in the mathematical nature of kind of mapping out beats and sounds and stuff, and then seeing the stories of people kind of adjusting sound loops and sound waves and stuff like that. It amazes me, as well as the all originals versus all produced and whatnot is something that, if it's good music, it's good music. I can't hate on people for playing good music, but to come up with something that actually moves people is a phenomenal trait.
Yeah, I'm like a big like Tipper stan, and I feel like that's like his main thing, is just kind of like doing like original sets, and just like that's why I feel like it's super cool going to shows, because it's just like, oh, let me hear some random like
when I would say, I guess,
edit he did or something.
Like is it like Pretty Lights, where it's a like pop culture edit or something like that, or is it more of like
just
all
weird like wow sound design, just like you can it's just like okay, so I feel like Tipper or Pretty Lights is very like, that sound design is like rooted in like stuff that like, you know, we're used to hearing. As, like,
for sure.
Music, you know? It's like
I was listening to yesterday, and Ellie Goulding is like, that's an iconic song. Hearing him cover it, like flip that around and switch it, your ears are already kind of pre-tuned to it.
Yeah, right. And then you just got like a nice like dance beat along with it, so it's like super, just like, it's nice but like familiar, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I feel like Tipper is more of like it's more of computer music, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
He's a real interesting character, because as I understand it, he is one of the last artists to be kind of off the face of the earth.
As far as like
social media. Yeah. And like I don't think he has anything.
Bro, that like, because he's like, I don't know, I'm not trying to be like that
go for it.
Standy, but it is like, I feel like if you get to that level of like, or you're that dank to where.
When it's interesting as well, because I think something that's played into it now is that if you got into it early enough, they're looking for people that are set up, and so like, whereas now getting into it, it's like if you pull up and you're a no one, they're like, oh, what are your social medias, what are your credentials? And so it's like he had not an in, but like was in before the media rush became a thing, and so it's kind of that like, I wouldn't say Primus sucks, but it's like everyone said Burning Man. I had a friend go to Burning Man. He's like, oh, dude, it fucking sucked. And then I was like, wait, really? He's like, nah, dude, it was sick. They kept us there for an extra week. We just tell everyone it sucks that way, like so that no one comes, and like they try and keep it like safe and chill. But it's one of those weird things that for some people, when they're savant and that good, like it just takes off. But nah, shout out Tipper, by the way. I don't know if it like he doesn't even have social media. So is there any way he's like would ever? I don't want to say ever see this shit, but like,
oh, he's gonna see this for sure, bro. I'm gonna send it to him.
Nah, decent, but decent. And then I guess honestly that river set was iconic.
That's my favorite thing to do in the summers is do the River Renegades.
I was watching a video of it today that I'm curious about. I wouldn't say I'm curious about posting, but it gets me in the point of like, it's just people sitting on a beach drinking beers, having a good time. Do you think the man would ever like not censor it, but like come down and be like, yo, they're fucking on the pipeline, drinking beers, having a good time?
I don't know, maybe, probably. I mean, if anything, I'd be like, get your fucking open containers out of here. I don't know, from what I've heard, just like, from any of the Renegades I've heard that, like, where the cops, like, come in force, is like, kids, like, selling beer and shit like that.
Selling
so
beer,
they don't
probably
like
doing
that.
some stupid shit as well, yeah.
But I feel like the spot we got is pretty decent, and we don't, like, piss too many people off, so I feel like, so right now, knock on wood, you know.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure there. For sure there, but I guess I saw you announced a show coming up a little south of here.
Dude.
What's the word on that?
Gonna be pretty sick, actually. It's like so there's the Charlotte Symphony that's playing. It's gonna be like a 60-person symphony. That's like the main event of the night, and I think they're playing like a bunch of like old like 90s hip hop covers, but just like a giant symphony doing it.
Yeah.
So that's sick. And then this like Astral OG homie Push Pull is like, I think he's also playing with this symphony as well. And then after that, I'm doing a live band show, where I have a drummer and I play guitar, and occasionally I'll have like a third person come up and either do like scratching or like bass sampling or something, like whatever fits the niche of that night.
Oh, for sure. And that's the scratching in general. Watching you like get in there and like, I wouldn't say make love to the beat, but that shit's a little different. There's people that kind of have fun with it, and there's people that like kind of understand the music, and I feel like you kind of understand it.
See, I feel like I'm like just not. I feel like if you don't know how to scratch, I'm like sound good enough.
Oh,
it's
for
just
sure.
Like, bro, it's just like, oh my god, like I'm like, I feel like I'm not good at like doing like the squeaky. I'm good at doing like the pa, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to where it's just like I literally like only use my like crossfader hand, and I just like will restart like the sample back with this hand. That's like all I'm doing with this. So it's like you're just like, if that makes sense. If you scratch it, that might make sense. But
No, fact. I mean, in watching it, I'll post it. I'll cut in the video of you doing it, because I have a couple now at this point.
And actually, talking about that, last week or 2 weeks ago, Virginia Beach, for the Zed's Dead after party, which was very sick.
Fact.
There was a little get together at Seaside, and there was a
Sunday.
yes, and there was another homie down there,
I
Player
missed
One.
out.
And he's pretty much telling me, it's like he does what I do, but it's just like opposite, to where it's just like his like one hand that's doing a lot is like the fader, like the platter hand, so like his crossfader shit isn't doing too much, so he's just like like scribbling the whole time, you know what I mean?
Okay,
so
okay.
I'm just like, shit, that's like exactly what I can't do. But it's just like to get like the both hands in conjunction would be sick. But
Well, that's where there's some of this that like now getting into it and exploring a little bit. I've seen I wouldn't say like the argument, but there's the argument of like, if you make a set for a show, to a certain extent, it is like a pre-planned, sometimes even pre-recorded thing, and so you're sitting there just twisting your hands and stuff. What is your opinion on the people that are, or I wouldn't even say fake DJing, but like, if you have a big show, you don't want that shit to fuck up. Then there's also the human aspect that, like, you know, I kind of want to see people pushing buttons. I had a friend that said he shut off his set twice because the deck was different than his, and so.
I feel like, I don't know, man, if you have like a $100,000 sound system and a $100,000 LED wall, and like you got all these, and it's like weeks in advance, and you got like an option to like talk to the visual guy and like send him like,
Oh,
you
for
know
sure.
what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like that I would say is worth it. I mean, I don't know. I play pre-planned out sets all the time. I don't like.
Well, I feel like it's one of those things that you pre-plan portions of it and then have the free verse sections as well.
Because I feel like, if anything, it's not like people don't go to DJ shows for like the technical ability of it, like they would to go to a band or some shit. More of just like the vibe of like, what can this person do to like decorate this hour with whatever sounds they like.
Energy of it, of like, I was interesting kind of educating my dad to it, but there's reminiscence of like the Grateful Dead, where like they take you up and down, and like
for sure.
it's an energy control like any other show where they bring you in. In these instances, are usually happy events where you're dancing around, having a great time, but
it's good altered states music, you know what I mean?
For sure. When it's interesting as well because like I'd say before I started dabbling in altering my state, I was like a very mainstream person, and then now since enlightenment, I've been much more observant and aware of different type of music and things that click, and so. I'm curious, I guess, when did you start listening to altered state music, I guess you could say? Like when?
Can I give you a whole guideline? Dude?
Go for it.
Yeah, dude. So high school, I was fucking space cadet, like shit. Me and my homies, we had a big old nice power squad of this. We all liked eating, what do you think?
Well, go for it, go.
Yeah, we all liked eating psychedelics a lot, to where...
When was the first time you ate psychedelics? What age?
I think 15.
Okay, that's a
like,
tone, yeah.
This is like back in like...
I didn't eat till like, I think 20 or like 19, so a late bloomer, but once I ate...
Well, I was eating like, it was like back in like 2010, dude, so it was like prime time, just like...
Who knows?
Take this piece of paper, like whatever.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I probably wasn't eating like legit like LSD, but it got me in, I don't know... Got me very deep to where just like I feel like it just made me into the man I am today type of shit. At least just like humblingness wise, just like
it's very interesting because I'm a very analytical and logical person and all these things, and it's from my own studying and educational research and this trial and error. It gives people a lot of perspective depending on how much they do and what setting and how, not even what setting, but like how. If you go to a concert and eat a whole bunch, you may have some epiphanies on like your friend group or something. But I had a friend that, and God bless his soul, he ate like 2 grams of mushrooms, put on eye covers, and put on like a little happy mix, and just locked in for 5 hours. Dude. And I was like, dude, that's insane. But the perspective it gives you in certain ways is something that I wouldn't say I encourage everyone to try, but in the right setting, could be something everyone should.
I was about to say, dude, I feel like sometimes shows might not be the best place for psychedelics, especially if you're not that experienced, you know what I mean?
For sure.
Just because it's like, you can get really a lot, you know what I mean? Like, really quick, and like, big deals that aren't big deals get to be big deals, you know what I mean? It's just like a lot of shit, and it's hard to come back. It's like base level when you're like...
Making that epiphany was, I wouldn't say like groundbreaking, but I remember the first couple times I took acid, and I was at Firefly, and I literally was just so discombobulated. I was like, I'm dehydrated. I haven't done anything. Like, I'm just looking left and right. I have no which way the door is. Like, who's playing next? I don't even know. And so
you
it's
go throw this porta potty.
Literally. But no, and it's interesting because with those things, I feel like, I would say, if you are able to do them in the right settings, it's very powerful and very good. Once you... I wouldn't say do it in the wrong setting. It's shaking, but I had the week the world shut down for COVID, I took something that who knows what it was, had a long ass day in Florida, and then did not partake again for another year. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm just gonna hang out on this and not rush into it. And I think some of this was like the lack of planning that went into the weekend. I got a ticket to a festival last minute, showed up there, didn't even know the lineup, who's playing or anything, and then next thing you know, I'm just absolutely faced on a tab. But it was a learning experience, and so, but decent. I like that we're getting, I wouldn't say like off topic, but kind of like away from.
I could talk about this shit for years. Bro.
Well, and you, like, one of my favorite aspects about you is that your Instagram story is just you riffing about random ass shit. Not even like where does that come from, but my curiosity is like how would you feel if you went viral for riffing and then also was a DJ on the side? Because I think you have the caliber of it.
That'd be sick if I couldn't like piss anybody off enough to be like, I don't know, fucking.
Oh,
that'd be awesome. Yeah, but.
Well, and that's another topic there that I had a long conversation about of like once you get into the content sphere, you are putting stuff out there for people to have an opinion on. And so in my sense, like, I'm super self-conscious, so I'm like, oh, positive. I also just am super positive in general. But a lot of people have success by being somewhat controversial because it invokes either an opinion or even a response that, like, it's easy to hate. And so they'll start blah, 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 blah. But, like, you have some not even controversial opinions. More so I just think they're curious and whatnot. And
I feel like it goes against the grain of, like, our scene particular. I don't know. I don't want to, like, sound like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just, these are, like, okay, it's the whole reason I started posting all this shit at the beginning is I used to have a bunch of roommates. So I was just like, all right, boys, check it out. It's 8:30 in the morning. Let me fucking spiel on you real quick. And, like, I don't got roommates no more. My girlfriend's, like, sick of that shit constantly. So I'm just like, all right, let me fucking blast this into the ether and see if we can have a conversation. But, yeah.
Well, I'd be surprised. I mean, I won't even say it's got to be resonating, but, like, there was a couple of times it's resonated with me. I can't be the only one responding to you to keep you going. But, no, it just intrigues me. And it's like there's simple things. I wouldn't say, I can't call it simple, but, like, the talks of, like, AI replacing society. There's talks, I mean, the music industry one yesterday was I thought was pretty clean as well. And it intrigues me because there's so many different facets that, you know, I'm personally seeing, like, the music industry one. If you build a business around it, Rhythm City's doing a great job of building a business and using that business to approach other businesses rather than, oh, I'm a DJ or I'm a such and such. I'm a one-off. Sure. Having that business aspect, but then I'm intrigued. Is there any riffs anything on your mind today that you want to get into? Or
I could talk about AI all day and, like...
Well, and rip, I mean,
right,
what do you think? What do you think?
Here's something that, like, I've been thinking about. Okay, or whatever.
Run.
Okay, so let's say I'm a record label, right? And me, a record label, and we all wear masks. All my agents wear masks, right?
Okay, I like this.
For my artists. And then I just get some AI program to write me songs. I take those songs and just literally just transfer the ideas into MIDI. Or at some point, I do feel like AI music. So I feel like AI music right now is at a point where it can arrange and compose really fucking well, but there's, like, all these, like, weird little artifacts. Like, artifacts are, like, high-end compression. Like, imagine, like, you take some, like, YouTube video and just compress it to fucking, like, you get all these weird, like, little scrinkly, like, high-end noises. Those are called artifacts.
Well, in the same way it does the pictures they have that little blemish.
Like noise little, and shit. Yeah. Same principle, but audio. But, I feel like it's going to get to a point to where all that noise is going to be removed, or just because it learns that people don't like that or whatever.
No,
like,
it's going to get over the hiccup for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, because, like, I don't know, imagine, like, the first time the Deep Dream shit came out, which was, like, what, like, 2018, I think, or something? Like, you remember, like, where it's like, oh, look at this zooming picture, and it's like something will turn into a dog.
Yeah,
like, that was, like, the first,
like,
I'm not an AI expert, but, like, from what I've seen, just, like,
you're on Twitter.
I'm not, like, writing this shit, but I'm saying just from what I've seen as a, like, consumer. But, yeah, I mean, that was, what, like, 5 years ago? And now we got Sora and shit, which is, like...
Dolly,
have you seen Sora?
I've heard about it. I haven't seen...
nuts, dude. It's insane. It, like, it can make, like, according to OpenAI, I don't think it's released yet, so it's like, we'll see what they say about it once it's actually released, but it can make completely real, like, videos that look photorealistic and just, like, do a whole spiel with
No, you write the script in and it does the rest, and I've seen...
But it's like, the thing is, though, it's like, it's not like some, like, airbrushed looking, like, animation shit. It's like some real human,
I saw I think it was a Batman, Superman. It was some movie trailer that someone ran on Sonora and looks clean. You wouldn't be able to decipher.
And here's another thing I've been thinking about. Because, okay, so... perfect example for, like, how, like, literally the smallest scale of, but how this could scale up into, like, international conflicts or whatever due to false information, in my opinion. But, like, so Kendrick Lamar came out of that diss shit, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm not too versed on the Drake side of it yet. I could be wrong about this, but I think maybe, like, somebody came out with, like, an AI diss track or something that was, like, Drake's voice. I don't know. I could be wrong about that. Don't quote me. Sorry if I am wrong. But I feel like, okay, let's say someone did, though, come out with some, and just say some monster shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, blah, 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 assassinate your children. You know, like crazy shit like that. You know
Cross
what I mean?
the line.
It's like that's gonna if someone thinks that's real.
Decent.
Yeah, Drake released you put Tupac and Snoop Dogg AI verses on a diss track.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And it's just like
well, initially it was like a song leaked of his, and it wasn't known if it was AI. But then he actually released it. But then he released like AI verses, just to like troll. But then he deleted it from his Instagram story.
and my thing is like, dude, imagine like I don't know, people gotten like shot in the past over that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever,
I mean,
supposedly.
you can do that with like politicians now.
That's what I'm
Like,
saying,
they're-
dude. So he's like, oh, look at
They're like
this.
with children.
Yeah, dude, just like automatically like off breaks. Just like look at Minnesota burning. Like,
But they'll
blah,
come
blah.
up with technology that can recognize it, probably.
Hope so. I feel like it's just like cat and mouse, like literally hackers and like black hat people are just like chasing around, like getting each other. You know what I'm saying? Type of shit. Just gonna be like,
Sketch.
Keep her on.
it just sucks.
Sorry about that.
Oh, you're good. Well, you're good. And honestly, this one has both of us. We'll see what that one's got on there.
Yeah. I mean, you can just switch to those.
No, and that's, I mean, shit, baby. We're up right now. I felt so bad because I shot one with Devin last year, but we had an hour and just no audio the entire time. And I was like, this is...
Yeah, made me realize how like sketch, like doing like wedding photography and audio and shit has got to be the most like nerve wracking fucking shit, dude.
Well, there's so many beautiful moments. Like, I don't know. I feel like some people can see moments in concerts to like feel like the big drop coming. I've become more attuned to those things, I feel like, but being getting paid that much money to create the lasting memory for these people.
It's like, well, give me $3,000. You come here, just like all you gotta do is just take the pictures.
Throw some fancy little inspirational music, some piano in there, and it's like, I don't know, it just...
You gotta like stop the kiss to get them like do it again.
And so like this... Run it back. I missed it. So you blinked. Gotta do it again. But like, no, it's one of those interesting things, and that's one of the industries that amazes me because it's like AI will never be able to take pictures or take video or something like that. We may have cameras and it may be able to like link together footage, but there's no way it's going to be able to kind of like capture that moment, at least moving around at the moment. That we have drones that like follow us around and shit, but it's interesting. There's no, and back to the original point, I'm curious if it's on there or not, but it's like that. Who is to know if Grimes is a perfect example. She was like, yo, if someone makes a AI version of my music with my voice and stuff 50-50, like let's sign the check. Like it's art to a certain extent. It's original by logical sense, but that being said, it is not man-made. It is artificial, which is the kind of, I wouldn't say juxtaposition, but like I feel like it gets in this gray area.
I feel like, you know, like the uncanny valley shit, where it's just like why is this, like when like, I think uncanny valley is like when something looks human, but it's like slightly off to where like we can pick up on it really well type of thing.
Okay, yeah.
And I feel like AI art, and that's crazy because we're just talking about art.
We're just
talking about art. We're not even talking about like weapon defense systems or like any of that. Like that's like some real.
No,
like,
and that's what really amazes me because like once I started getting into ChatGPT and some of these minuscule things of like, hey, write a business structure and all these different things based off my own ideas, but asking it provocative questions. Hey, you know, write me a business plan. Hey, what would that look like? Blah blah. But like, you know, hey, how could we stop the Israel-Palestine conflict? Like, there's some crazy shit that like I'm curious what's going on behind closed doors with this AI that I wouldn't say don't know, but like we'll find out eventually.
Imagine like a AI drone, which I'm sure that is already flying in the sky somewhere. But it's like imagine that, and then just like hit a wrong target, which I'm sure happens all the time. You know what I mean? It's just like, who do you blame? Like, what is like? There's just like it's like a.
When it leaves a lot of like the part that I think I'm appreciative of the AI market of right now is that they are skeptical of what could happen, and it's like if we leave all this shit up to robots, the problem then becomes a human error. But it's like if someone decides to hack all these robots, we could be fucked. And it's like freaking, and I don't want to get political or anything, but you know, there was alleged that China put in that attack. They hacked 7 million AT&T users, a whole bunch of Apple users lost their account info, and it's like, could you imagine if Wi-Fi and internet just cut off? And I wouldn't say, like, what would we do? Like, obviously people would just wake up and keep going about their shit, but, like, the amount of people that just wouldn't go to work because it's like, who the fuck, like, you're not getting paid. Everything's electronic now.
Yeah, and it's just like, I don't know, there's like so much more data that's stored on the internet now, where if that were to happen, I don't know, I really don't know like too much about like servers and how that shit works, but I do feel like it's like, hey, at least we have the paper files from like, back in the day.
No,
we
some old geezer's gonna be like, I fucking knew it.
Yeah,
I fucking knew it.
A warehouse of files.
Literally, I'm glad we didn't fucking shred those bitches. But no, and it's this fast like rapidization and growth.
So fast, dude.
It's as I see it, we are the live test subject of like what's happening. Where it's like tobacco trials. It's like vapes popped around. They're like, "Yo, man, sign up to be studies." And I'm like, "These are out on the shelves right now. There's no buffer period for these to be tested." Like,
What's studied?
No, the internet. Like, let's just give it to them and see what happens. It's like we are the live test subject of it, and now that we're into it, it's a wild, wild west of all the capabilities that's there, and then you see the dark side of it, specifically like the dark webs and the naughties, and then you see the good side of it where like good people are becoming viral and showing their music and all these different things. And so
I feel like, I don't know, I can't appreciate like the fucking medical stuff that I think like the AI is doing or whatever.
Yeah,
I feel like
sure.
they're doing a lot of research that would take humans forever to do, but since they are the way they are, they can do that faster. I guess I'm not a researcher. Sure. I couldn't speak too much on that, but I feel like an immediate issue that at least is going to be in like my lifetime is like job displacement that is not going to be replaced. Because that like I think this is the first time we've had like, hey, here's a labor tool. It's like, no, that's like this. What used to take a team of 10 people to do on a computer, anything digital, now takes one person to oversee like a team of AI bots or whatever.
Yeah, and plug it into the formula.
Where, like, I feel like that's going to happen. I mean, that's why I feel like there's all these tech industries have been laying off a lot. Because I do feel like that's
it's happening.
Something they're not really talking about, but it is just like, I mean, bro, it's like, imagine if you're, okay, dude, perfect example, like paralegals. I feel like, granted, I would assume you'd want to go back and like check everything, which might be also another load of work as a lawyer, but also I'm sure you do the same thing as a human paralegal. But anyways, like if you're a paralegal, like I feel like a lot of your job is like looking up case studies and stuff like that. It's like, how did this turn out? Very like,
could you
dry,
imagine just like chat
that.
GBT and it being like, yo, chat, like, can you mind narrating this court case for me? Like, this is my charge. How do I get out of it?
I've heard people that work for the government that like use that to like research their government like reports or whatever. I'm just like, that seems very like not good. Like, I don't know, but that was like back before like when it first came out. I'm sure.
What type of reports is it? Is it like the salaries or like the?
It was some chick I met at a festival that were literally having like a similar conversation. She's like, "Oh, well, I use blah blah for like the government reports." I was just like, "Damn, that's kind of."
Well, and that's they've started censoring stuff like that now, and that's where I was asking ChatGPT about Virginia government information and revenue and all this shit, and it was like,
sure,
what
they
the
got
fuck?
like some control now. Like,
now,
yeah,
exactly. It's like, oh, we only know stuff up to 2020, blah blah blah. Sorry. What was the disclaimer as well? It's like, none of this is meant to be used, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, get out of here.
Were you hip Smart Child? You hip with Smart Child from AIM days?
No.
Bro, it was literally it was an OG ChatGPT, bro. It was fucking literally like some like AIM profile shit or whatever. And it was like a little fucking chat bot thing. That was actually pretty like decent with like replies.
Well, it is funny. The conversation I had yesterday was that like a lot of things are made anew and then just rebranded, and it's like, it sounds like chatbot, like the paperclip, like it's the same idea that like if you have a question, just throw it to that, and like they rebrand it and give it to you as lunch.
I was just thinking about this the other day. You know how hard it is to come up with like an original fucking idea? Like, do you know how long it took for us to like figure out how to farm, and then after that everybody did it because it was like, oh shit, yeah, tight.
No, well, and that's the
it's like 10,000 years. It's like great, like, dude, it takes so long to like come up with a solution to shit that isn't like assisted by other people, you know?
Well, I mean, I'd say that the part that I'm drawn into there is like amount of compounding that like they say like history repeats itself, but it's like the amount of answers out there in the world. If you went and did a case, looked at all the case studies of how to solve X and X problem, like you could probably find some similar solution, but it's like the amount of times shit happens like that and fucking I won't even say do something that's already been done, but like it's to do something that is completely unheard of or like unearthed as well. But a lot of times when that happens, there is a major like juxtaposition where people are like, oh fuck no, like I'm not letting that shit happen. Like no, like the furries, they're not coming in my school. Like oh, like guys being girls, heck no, they want to wear dresses. Stop that shit. Like there's a bunch of like, yeah, I wouldn't say all over society, but you could frame that in so many ways of like people coming up with new ideas and like, wait a second, I don't know how I feel about this shit, and so.
Yeah. I mean, it takes a lot of balls to do that for the first time for everything, I would say.
Oh, for
like
sure.
A serious amount of gusto.
For sure. Well, and I mean, it's like, you see that, and it's interesting because I have a stepbrother now that, like, he's the adventurous one in high school, doing acid, skipping school and all these things, but then I see the forward thinking of it that, like, this kid is ready to jump into a world of chaos, but be the, like, content stream and produce it, and I'm like, this kid is... It's not at all smart, but like, you know, him borrowing the neighbor's car when they don't know about it and shit like that. Like that's someone's gotta get us home right now, and I'm like, this kid's thinking like he's, you know, and so it takes sometimes to
steal it and return it.
if you're going to return it and then he ends up crashing it, I was like, bro, that's the ultimate worst case scenario. Parents are gone. I was like, this is just oh man. But I mean. That being said, it takes, like, and when you think of, I'm a philosophy major, you think of, like, Martin Luther, he was getting extradited for putting shit up on the wall.
Sure was, dude.
Fucking Patrick Henry, down the road from us, give me liberty or give me death. Like, there's such a, I wouldn't say a juxtaposition, but, like, getting flamed sometimes is, like, kind of a rite of passage that if you're able to survive it and keep thriving, you end up being, I wouldn't say like a businessman, but, like, you fucking...
Some people don't like change, but the people that are invoking the right change are like, fuck you, I don't know if this is right. But some people think some change is good, it's like not.
Well, it's also, I feel like
at
this point in time, there's so many things happening that like, two girls came up to me this week as I was working at my retail job, and they're like, hey, would you want to do like a walkout with us for this like pro-Palestine thing? And I was like, all right. I don't want to lose my job, but like I also want to be in supportive of the home team and people and human. But I was like, this is just one of those things that I'm not even educated enough, wholeheartedly enough for us to like get into it. And then they're throwing it on me, and I'm like, I hate to be like a white male, but hey, I don't want to lose my job, blah blah. Like, and also being like, you know, what is me walking out of my small business on a Monday night do in terms of making society realize some of those things? But it's like there's
more. Sometimes there's complex answers to complex questions.
Oh well, and at this point, I feel like the world is getting so. I wouldn't even say like it's getting so complex, but I feel like it's a tactic sometimes used to make us like not do things that it's like, oh, there's just so many problems. What are you gonna do about it?
I will say this: I do feel like a lot of people think the world is definitely going through it right now, but like compared to like back in the day, it's like. I do feel like we have just 24/7 news cycle in the palm of our hands that I would say a majority, at least America, has access to.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Which is like, and then you can go down and see comments on shit that people you've never met in your life, and you can have like a full like take an hour out of your day fighting some random stranger on the internet, and then never have that like face to face like, oh, all right, well. You want to grab a beer? Or, like you never see that person ever again. So you like have this like image of like, oh, the other side is so like stupid or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just like
that part.
I feel like it. Not to cut you off.
Go. No, I was cutting you.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like a lot of it is just that we have like. I feel like if you were to go live in the fucking woods, do your shit, know your neighbors that live by you, and that's like all you pay attention to. It's like You'd have your issues with your neighbors, whatever, that type of thing, but it's like, you're not gonna like, you're in your own town, you know what I'm saying?
No,
so it's just like, I feel like that was like more like happening back in the day versus now it's like everybody like is just seeing what's going on, so everybody gets worked up, which they have a right to, but.
For sure, and it's
Why?
I won't even say it's like the analysis of the people, but like there's so many people out there in the world, so many of them are getting thrust all this information. I'm not saying people are stupid, but generally speaking, I don't trust that the majority of people are using their heads to see both sides, taking all that stuff in, and then you get to the point of like, you take the wrong people soaking that information in, and they just keep soaking it and keep compounding, and they get in that little, the thought chamber where it's like they're in the group chats of people that are like-minded, and they're just all riffing off, and it's like, this is not where it gets crazy, but like where the internet kind of starts to go bad, where it's like all these people, I mean, I wouldn't say the QAnons are bad or anything, well, who knows if they're fucking right or not, but it's like when you have these echo chambers of people that just sit there and bark at each other, who knows what's going to happen. And with the amount of, I'd say like content rules the world, it's semi why we started this, because it's like if we can start pumping out content in a positive nature or something, but it's becoming a new factor for sure.
I feel like, oh damn, I had a point. Oh, okay, so back when I first started getting on the internet, sorry.
Oh, good, baby.
Back when I first started getting on the internet, it was like 2007, 2008 type of shit, where it's like 4chan just getting started, and I was just like, oh, whatever. I'm like on just forums, like looking up like random conspiracy theories. I'm 14.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, holy shit, our whole system's rigged. Like everything's, oh my god. Because it's like, I didn't have like the skills to navigate around the internet to like, kind of like.
I went down a rabbit hole like a month ago.
Like, I'm not saying every conspiracy theory is wrong, but I'm also not saying everyone's right, to where it's just like, I don't know, like, there's like, I feel like the longer you're on the internet, the more like you can like kind of navigate like what's like real and what's bullshit.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? And
Well,
I feel like
if you're able to keep that perspective too of like not, sometimes it does seem like it's fucking right. You're like, oh, this is making sense.
Yeah, because it just aligns with your personal fucking shit. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of adults, for the first time, are going through that right now.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, my dad's like on their fucking ass. Like, he didn't know how to fucking, literally did not know. Like, we had a joke that he didn't know how to turn on a computer for like, until like 2012, until he got one of his job. And it's just like, now he's on it. You know what I mean? It's just like, I feel like that's a lot of people like getting on the internet for the first time and like seeing all this shit that they like don't know how to like regulate or like decipher or put in certain bins of like what's fucking like real or what's not.
Oh, for sure. And as we go more into it, we're gonna get fucked, because AI is just gonna keep fucking with us. But like, that being said, it's like the conspiracy theories. I mean, I was born a Democrat and now am brightening and expanding my horizons. But even then, there's so many things that like, I was down a deep one last week that was telling me about the Owl Society, where they go out and meet in the woods and
fucking. Is it someone with a B? Fucking, yeah, it's all like the presidents and figure out
all the elites of the world. Yeah, it's like, but I was like,
this fucking MG.
No, and then they like the fact that they don't allow any cameras there, and like they make the spot kind of sketch in general. I'm like, this is like
something wood, something.
No,
I know exactly. It's in Cali.
Exactly,
Yeah,
but no. And then, Devin, can you let the cat in? She's by the door back there.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, but no, it's just the world is amazing, because at times you get those good stories, but I feel like an unfortunate shift, and I mentioned a little earlier, but like that being naughty sometimes sells a little bit easier. And I wouldn't say it's like the no energy, but like
it's like, I don't know, this person just has an opinion, like their own manufactured or whatever, their own opinion about shit, not just like trying to like follow a certain flow of like,
but I also
this side or that side. And
I mean, like the videos that's like you shouldn't watch, but like you can't look away, where it's like, and like there's certain aspects of it that's like the pimple popper videos, but then it's like,
all right, I'm so into dude. I feel like that's like some weird, just like,
it's weird as hell.
Like,
it
that's
is
like,
though.
Yeah,
it's a no, but it's a yes, and like you can't look away. Sometimes you want to see the result of it, but like the internet,
I love them shit.
Unfortunately, has an aspect where like, as much as they want to be like, oh, it's a wholesome place, like it definitely has those negative spheres where you can fall into rabbit holes. I've been watching a bunch of snake videos lately of them in the woods, and I'm like, this is fucking sick. Like, I don't even know what's happening, but here's a freaking rattlesnake about to eat something. Like, exactly. And so, no, freaking hell yeah, man.
You know what's the coolest story I got about my dad, dude? We're at some fucking bonfire at one of his fucking old homie's house, and I'm like 5, and he's just like, we're all sitting there chilling, and he's just like, oh wait, he just like runs into the woods, and then just comes out like 5 minutes later with some like 6-foot black snake, just like fucking just like giant ass black snake that he just like I guess randomly saw. I don't fucking no idea how he found it, but
Where the fuck was that? Was that in Richmond or where's your dad?
It was
Whereabouts was that? I guess not. Where's your dad?
I think.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like some Styx activity.
Yeah, it's like
That's
type of shit. It's
what-
like just the start. It's the foothills of the.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting topic there. You mentioned the Nova, and I'm from Nova, you're from Nova, but I guess, thankfully, and Devin, our cameraman, is also from Nova, but...
Virginia hates us, dude.
No, and there's a portion of it that, like, I feel guilty being born in Northern Virginia, knowing comparatively the perspective it has compared to the rest of the country, which is blowing my mind. Seeing the paper that's like, yeah, these people in this one portion of America are making more than like a lot of other people.
We just got there's so much government contracts and DC workers and shit that just like all that money just soaks up in that general area.
Oh, it goes chaotic, and it's like it's mind blowing because like as well one of the things I wouldn't even say it's been like an epiphany or something, but I feel like areas where it's so tense like that don't have a good sense of community, whereas I feel like Richmond has grown its scenes in every aspect, hip hop, EDM, all these things, because there's like I won't say like a survival of the fittest, but it's like if you want to do this shit, you're gonna find a way, rather than like DC or some of these bigger cities having the ability to kind of help you.
I feel like Nova, can't really speak too much on DC. I didn't actually live there, but I feel like Nova is like kind of like a transient type of vibe, because there's like so many like military workers that just like, all right, I'm gonna live here for like 4 years, bounce or whatever, 2 years, like type of shit. Or at least like my neighborhood I grew up was just much like military, where it's just like I feel like Virginia Beach is similar vibe. I also feel like they bond better down there over the beach. Like we don't have like a body
Coastal.
of something, you know what I'm saying? Like there's not like a linking factor up in Nova, I would say.
It was interesting to me because I grew up in coastal Northern Virginia, near Old Town, Alexandria, but I'm 5 minutes from the Chesapeake, and so I thought of myself as more of a coastal person, at least having the Chesapeake there. Eventually I realized that like as cool as the Chesapeake is, it's really not as cool. The James is way more lit, has a major water
Chesapeake
factor.
Fucking sick, dude.
Well,
you ever hang out like Deal and that shit? I don't know that.
Deal, is it
like
Maryland?
Yeah, I want to say it's Eastern Seashore. It's like right where like I think
It sounds really familiar. I feel like
it's Chesapeake. It's fucking. It is that. I feel like Old
they
Town
do,
might be a little bit much, and like probably can't go swimming that shit. You know what I mean?
no, it's not ideal. I mean, you can physically go swimming. I don't recommend.
You take a shower.
Immediately. You might come out with like a third eye popping out your back or something. But no, and it's just interesting because like Richmond definitely has a water feature to it. They say Virginia Beach, Newport News, all the 7-5 in general is a water landlocked, engulfed area that kind of I think makes it a chiller space because of the water. But like
I mean, bro, all my homies down there, it's like anytime I'm like, oh, you should move, like, whatever, blah, blah, get out there, whatever, like, come move to Richmond type shit. Like, I tell fucking everybody, and they're just like, no, I'm not moving away from the water. So I do think, like, the water down there is just, like,
for sure. For sure. No, I was talking to someone yesterday that they spent a year down in Wilmington and then moved back to Richmond, and they were like, dude, I don't know what it is about Richmond, but I feel like everyone's got to stick up their ass. And I was like, bro,
It's because you can fucking...
if you went to fucking Northern Virginia, you wouldn't even be fucking...
I feel like the trade-off, though, with, like, living by the water is, like, everybody's an alcoholic. You're going to
something.
drink, dude.
They got something, and it's like, it's most likely an alcoholic, probably smokes, probably eats something here and there as well. But like I'd say, I mean, that being said,
I'd be drinking.
that's the dream. Like if anything, when I retire, just move off to the beach, watch the sunset, become leathery, greasy old man. Just
if I could move to the Outer Banks and make that work, and like have some homies down there and shit, it'd be fucking sick. Dude.
If you could move anywhere in the country right now, no cost associated, where would it be?
If I was Hawaii. But I understand that there is limited space there, and as a guy that thoroughly enjoys Virginia, I was like, all right, I'll let y'all that's fine.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna take a lot from y'all. That's fine.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
It is a fucking very beautiful state. Like, it's honestly one of the, I've been there one time. I went to like Waikiki Beach and like got a rental car and like drove around the whole island, which took like 2 hours to do. But it was like fucking one of the most memorable experiences. I feel like that's gonna be like a thing that when I die, it's like, oh, I remember that one time on North Shore where you're chilling on the beach. Like, it's like,
Dude,
that's gonna
getting
be
I wouldn't say like the visual memories, but like when you're able to pick back the picturesque scenes of coming around the corner, seeing volcanoes, that's badass. Well, heck yeah. I mean, that's an excellent answer as well, I guess. So
If,
go
sorry,
for riff, run for it.
I did go to, yeah, my bad, not to keep talking about it, but you got me thinking of it.
Don't apologize.
Houston, Texas.
Houston.
Which has some nice, I'm sure it's like, you're going to get cancer maybe there. Probably not, I don't know, sorry anybody from Houston, but like it is like, you know, like carcinogenic coast, baby. But it is like, it has very fucking lovely sunsets. I went there for like a memorial party, and it was very beautiful. And I also have fucking fond memories of that in my brain.
Okay. Now, and Houston amazes me in the immediate, in that I've noticed I'm trying to think of the right word for it. I guess the pronunciation of their U's is a lot more Houston.
True.
A lot of freaking Sexy Red is another one that she's been bringing, like, and there's just, I mean, Memphis has another one that's got
Memphis,
a good,
I feel like Memphis and Baltimore is kind of like similar.
I feel like that's a good one. I feel like Richmond's been getting a lot of New York relations, and it's different because it's like, it's not as big a city, obviously, but the culture and the makeup of the city being a melting pot, a little bit of everything. It's like a miniature New York almost.
I think there was actually like a good amount of people from New York.
Oh, definitely. That's a fact there. But all right. Shit, if anything, cheers, brother.
Cheers. Appreciate you having me on, my boy.
Yeah, man, I'm happy to be here. Happy to be building a space for the people, at least passing through. It would be dope to get some like touring artists to stop by. I'd have to probably work on my conversationalism a little bit, maybe even get a more professional studio and not have the cats running around. But that being said, the topic at hand, the question at hand, Devin, are we recording up there?
Yeah, we're good.
We're live right now. Everybody Eats podcast. The question we're asking: what would you do if you had $3 million? And that, when I say what would you do, the city of Richmond has a allotted budget of $3 million it is able to use right now. And so, what if you had $3 million, what would you do to the city of Richmond?
All right, so Richmond has what is called a combined sewer system, right? Which was the shit back in like 1850 when they were building the city, right?
Okay.
And pretty much how it works is that you got your houses up here, you got your poop pipes from your toilets coming down here.
Poop pipe,
And
yeah.
you got this big...
Everybody poops.
Everybody defecates. But you got this big, like, 10-inch pipe running down from, like, the city to the river, right? And...
To the river.
To the river. So back in the day, what the saying is dilution is the solution to pollution, right? And when you have, like, 100,000 people living in a city, or, like, not even, like, 50,000 people living in a city, that's, like, yeah, that's right. This is like 1850s. So they could, no, back in the day, they could, I guess technically, don't poop in the river. So that's what they built this system for, right?
The Pooh River, man.
So that's why when it rains, and there's these dams at the end of these pipes that all the stormwater and sewage run into the same pipe system, right? So there's dams at the end of these, like, they're called cleanouts or some shit. But there's dams at the end to where the river's right here. Poop pipe coming down here, and then hits this dam, and then goes this way, to where if there's ever raining a lot, it'll flow over the dams and go directly into the river instead of hitting the dam and going to the water treatment plant, right? Telling you, right?
There's poop in the river. That's not okay.
Yes, there is. Yeah, there is. I mean, the river's nice. It is so much cleaner than it was in the 90s.
Wild.
So Virginia or the USA was like, hey, y'all can't do this shit anymore. You've been doing it for like 150 years.
Literally, there's
can't
shit.
do it no more.
There's
Shit
everywhere.
This is 2024 now. You know what I mean?
Well, so what's this? Where
so
are we right
Richmond
now?
by 2035 has to replace like 27 fucking outflow post, I guess. Let's call them outflow posts, right?
Bro,
where the pipe with the storm and sewage water overflows the dam when it's raining a lot instead of going back, right? And so that's estimated to cost $1.2 billion, right? And we have to have it done by 2035. According to the last thing, I read this, it was like an article I read like 2 years ago, so those numbers might have shifted a little bit. I honestly think it's going to be more expensive, but...
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And inflation in general,
So,
laundering, obviously, they got to launder in some more money, too, so...
So, Richmond's down to put $150 million down, and the state of Virginia will also match $150 million, right? So that's $300 million out of $1.2 billion, and the rest has to come through our utility bills. So utilities are about to be fucking expensive as shit for like 10 fucking years. I would think. Like, I'm talking like $200 utility bills.
Well, I'm surprised no one's mentioned it. Like, they're not going to tell you.
You know why? Because every mayor that gets elected to this shit, nobody wants to do that because it's like, it's going to be so expensive. And if you're the mayor that starts that shit, it's like nobody's ever going to vote for you again because it's like, oh, this mayor just dumping all the shit into the sewage system that nobody's like educated about, that like knows like that we have to get this done by 2035.
No, well, and I like now that you
shit.
say that, because there's a right near the East End, near Gillies Creek, they started putting in this fucking massive pipeline. Every time I drive past it, I make the joke of like, yo, no pipeline in my city and shit, but like, little did I know it's actually the fucking...
I don't know if it's that, but like...
I mean, bro, it's easily the size of this room in width, and like, it's shut down the oncoming traffic of it, but like, that would make sense.
So it's funny, because in Virginia, there's 3 cities that still have combined CFOs, I think, combined flow outputs. I don't know, don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
To where your poop water is going into the river if it rains too much because it's overflowing the dam.
Nobody's poop is better than anyone else's poop.
Yeah.
I want to make sure people know that. Like,
all
even if you're upriver, it's going...
all that shit's gross.
It all goes to the same spot, man. That's the thing.
But yeah, so it's Lynchburg.
Just because you're vegan doesn't mean you're better. Shit's probably still
just because
worse,
your
honestly.
turds are like silky and smooth. But yeah, the 3 cities is Lynchburg, Richmond, and Old Town Alexandria. But the funny thing is or not funny, but Old Town Alexandria and Lynchburg have like 2 that they gotta replace. You know, it's like a couple $100,000 probably, versus we have like 27.
Yeah, well, the infrastructure.
We're just such an old city to where it's just like, with new regulations and being like, which is like, I mean, it is. And if you live here, I mean, you got a house. You know what I'm saying? To where it's like, if you think about it, it is like we are investing in our city type of shit. To where it is just like, I'm like, I guess I'm willing. I guess at the very least, I
didn't
like
sign up for this though. It's like the same shit that I get that shit. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. It's just like literally. I mean, no. I'm pretty sure New York is having like a similar problem to where it's like their sewer systems can't, like, you know, they just build up.
It's just too much.
It's
shit.
like literally no. That is a real fucking issue with cities. It's just like when they keep building up. It's like, bro, let's say you had like a 5-story building right here.
What do we do with the shit at the end? Where does it all go? What?
That I couldn't define in a scientific way. I would assume I don't fucking know. Yeah, I guess filter all that shit out. Like, I don't fucking know. Something like that. Yeah, that all goes to a water treatment
freeze-dried or something? Like,
Dude, you know Blue Plains in fucking Maryland on the other side of Virgin Alexandria? You're going to D.C. when you cross Woodrow Wilson Bridge.
Gravely Park, yeah.
Where all speed cameras and shit, and fucking just smells like shit.
It does.
That's Blue Plains. That they clean like all of Alexandria and like that side of Maryland. It's like, it's the same shit. So all the poop water goes there, and then they treat the water. It's actually funny if you go. Also, don't quote me on this, but I want to say it's like, I'm pretty sure if you swim by like a water treatment plant, I wouldn't do it personally, but like it is cleaner than like shit that's like upstream or whatever.
Allegedly, it probably smells like booty cheeks though.
Yeah, it smells like shit, but but like the water that's getting pushed out of the actual pipe from the water treatment plant is theoretically, and I would assume legally, clean water.
Oh, and I bet you they're testing the shit out of it because it's so close.
Yeah,
to
I was about to say, it was like definitely like
when it's happened.
America don't play with their water fucking.
It's
levels.
funny you mentioned the water getting so hot because it's happened at least twice in Richmond, where something's happened and people are calling it the Pooh River. I always thought that they were